Keep winning, baby. Do it. Embrace simple truths. There's only two genders, and boys should go to boys' rooms, girls should go to girls' restrooms. And guess what? Teachers shouldn't be forced to use your freaking made-up fantasy pronouns. Fight like hell. Hold the line against the LGBT mafia and their dang pedo fans. Keep winning. You know what? Keep the winning. They can keep the monkeypox. How's that working? In fact, keep winning so much, we'll keep coming. You know what? We're going to keep coming so hard, the only thing these woketards got to figure out is whether it's on their face, backbone, or thighs. Woo! Get some! Thank you.
You heard it here, folks. That was Scott Western from Dallas, Texas, making it abundantly clear that he will continue to keep coming hard, while also, of course, regurgitating right-wing talking points and fear-mongering toward the LGBTQ community and more. Now, this was during a school board meeting in Dallas, Texas. And listen, there's a lot of detail to get into with Dallas, Texas and the Grapevine Colleyville School District. But before we do, can't help but take a look at the woman behind him as he's going on this insane rant, because her reaction to him when he said things like, "We're gonna come so hard," was visual, expressive to say the least. Let's take a look at that picture. There she is, don't know who she is, but that was amusing to say the least. Now, let's watch her reaction to the monkeypox and coming so hard moment.
Dang pedo fans, keep winning. You know what? Keep the winning. They can keep the monkeypox. How's that working? In fact, keep winning so much, we'll keep coming. You know what? We're going to keep coming so hard, the only thing these woketards got to figure out is whether it's on their face, backbone, or thighs. Woo! Get some! Thank you.
I mean, I guess taking stimulants prior to a school board meeting is the way to go for some people. I wouldn't recommend it, but nonetheless, Cenk.
Yeah, wow. So, look, I am that lady in the back. I was like, right? So, but this is, but look, I watched a longer version of this. It's not just that one guy. It's not a quirk. It's not some rando dude that walked off the street high on fentanyl, although it looks like it. It was one person after another, and they're all convinced that teaching about racism is terrible and we shouldn't do it anymore. They're all convinced that the schools are trying to turn their kids gay, and the LGBTQ mafia, as that guy said, right?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it's a criminal organization. I mean, everyone knows this.
Yeah. Look, guys, I'm going to acknowledge one thing on their side in a second, but if there's one side that's intimidating the board and acting like a mafia, it's clearly the right wing. I mean, they're coming in this hot, right? And they won, and they've been winning all across the country because they're coming in and saying, no, we're going to be weirdo maniacs until you listen to a vocal minority. See, in some places they're the majority, to be fair, but in a lot of places they're the minority. But they're so loud that they win anyway. Now, in terms of acknowledging their point, I mean, this is a weird acknowledgement, but a backhanded compliment in a sense. But like, I get it. They don't want you to teach kids that it's okay to be gay because
then send your kid to a homeschool or a private school, and you don't get to be the arbiter of everything that gets taught in a public school.
No, but they think they are, and so it's important for me to finish my point on that because they genuinely think that being gay is evil and terrible because they were taught that by whatever fundamentalist pastor that they had, and it is sick. I think it's deeply immoral to hate other people like that. And, I mean, there are now stats that are just shocking. In areas like this, 45% of LGBTQ kids consider suicide. Like, and then they still paint it as like, oh, they just want to be LGBTQ to be cool. What part of considering suicide is cool? No, you're destroying their psychology because you believe in your fundamentalist religion and you think that you should hate these people. I get that you think that, and I get that we live in a democracy and that puts us in a difficult situation. But you are wrong, and a democracy also has to protect the minorities. And in this case, they don't seem to get it. LGBTQ does not run the country. They're a small minority of people, and they need protection from lunatics like the guy you just saw.
I mean, we're talking about a group of people that has been historically persecuted in this country and continues to be persecuted in this country. And so the idea that the real victims here are parents, religious parents of students in our public school system is ridiculous. And look, at the end of the day, squeaky wheel gets the attention. And so if you have this influx of conservative parents showing up at these school board meetings and sharing what they think should happen to the curriculum in the schools, well, then they're gonna win if there isn't something to counterbalance or to mitigate what they're calling for. And they're, in my opinion, from what we've seen, I could be wrong, they appear to be far more organized. They have the media infrastructure riling them up, the right-wing media infrastructure riling them up over these issues. And it's a damn shame because there are non-religious parents whose kids go to these schools. There are parents who are a lot more tolerant of others who might not have the exact same life that they do, and they want their children to be accustomed and aware of that, and they want their kids to get a decent education that gives a more holistic look at what this country's history entails. But their voices aren't being heard because they're being completely drowned out by a far more organized group of right-wingers who are afraid of their children learning about the world around them. And what's amazing to me is, and this is something that I used to say even when I was a kid, and there was this debate about whether it's better to send your young Armenian kids to private Armenian schools as opposed to like a more diverse public school. And I always said, public schools have the added benefit of making sure that you're aware that there are other people in the world who exist that aren't Armenian, right? You don't have the culture shock once you graduate because you're accustomed to other groups of people. What do they think is gonna happen? Their kids are gonna graduate school and somehow they're gonna be protected from ever having to learn about or know members of the LGBTQ community? Like, sheltering your kids in this way is ridiculous. And there's that inherent ignorance, honestly, about how people don't choose to be gay or don't choose to be transgender, but they think that it's a lifestyle choice when it's not, and it's insane.
Look, I know this is a tired old point, but it's true. I mean, if they think it's a choice, it's obvious that it's in their head that they think they could go either way, and that they made a choice to be straight, but they had to think about it. That's in their heads for sure, because they're the ones saying it, not us. Right? And so, but okay, look, guys, this is the most important part. Stop playing defense, flip the frame on them. So I'm so tired of them accusing people that are in the LGBTQ community of being immoral. And the most obnoxious saying in the history of the planet is hate the sin, love the sinner. No, I don't agree to your stupid assumptions that it's a sin. I could do the same exact thing with you. Hey, listen, these lunatic right-wingers, I don't hate them as people, but I hate the sin that they have of hating others. And so they're filled with sin, these right-wingers. They're immoral people. They're very, very immoral. They try to get you to hate another group of people and to try to wipe out their existence and not even acknowledge it. So do not ever do defense, do offense on them. We shouldn't have school boards listening to people who are avowedly immoral and spreading hatred and discrimination. And last thing in flipping the frame is, look, we have America on our side. The most American quality is equality. Everybody knows that. That is our founding principle, equality. And these guys come and say, no, people who are gay should not be equal. We should not teach about them. We should not acknowledge them. We should make sure that no one is ever allowed to think it's okay to be gay, even if you're an American, 100% American.
Yeah.
They are literally, very, very literally arguing against equality. So tell people that.
Yeah.
We don't want these un-American people winning. It's so simple and no one does it.
Okay, yeah, they definitely don't believe in liberty and justice at all. That's clear. Now, I need to tell you about the outcome of this school board meeting because they were determining issues related to school bathrooms and the kind of pronouns that can be used. And here's what we know. The district will require, as permitted by law, that every multi-occupancy bathroom or changing facility be used only by people based on their biological sex. So of course, anti-transgender, bathroom rules. District staff, by the way, they say should not talk about sexual orientation or gender identity until after a child has finished 5th grade, the policy states. They must also not teach or promote gender fluidity, which the trustees defined as the view that it is possible for a person to be any gender or none, i.e. non-binary, based solely on that person's feelings or preferences. And they also state that in alignment with Texas code, Texas sounds like such a wonderful, lovely place to be, right? The district will not allow a student to compete in a sponsored athletic competition designated for the biological sex opposite to the student's biological sex, according to government issued documents. And the discriminatory policies didn't just target the LGBTQ community, as you can imagine. The Grapevine Colleyville Board's new policy states that teachers and administrators cannot discuss, you guessed it, critical race theory, or what they have called systemic discrimination ideologies. This discussion of such policies comes almost a year after James Whitfield, a Black principal in the district, was put on leave and eventually resigned after being accused of teaching CRT.
So, as usual, of course, we have to tell you, he was not teaching critical race theory. They lied because they're immoral people. They lie all the time, and we allow them to win when we should fight back. They call us the worst names in the world, and I say us. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're gay or Jewish or Muslim or black or brown. It doesn't matter. They hate us, and they tell us all the time that they hate us. And then if we ever fight back, they're like, "Oh, we're offended." I don't give a goddamn that you're offended. Okay, so everybody get up. And again, only through politics, not through their insane violence that the right wing wants. Through politics, through your words and ideas, fight back against these monsters.